tuned into the number one station on the net, Hotline Radio, with the number one show on the net, Keith Harris Show, and I'm your guy, Keith Harris. Now, the wait is finally over. We've been looking forward to talking to this wonderful, very talented young lady all week long, and so now the time is finally here. As you know, I was doing the countdown I started the countdown around 4:15 Eastern Time, 2:15 everybody else's time out there on the West Coast, and now the time is here. Without any further ado, I'd like to roll out the red carpet for the one and the only actress and producer, Melanie Robel. How you doing, Melanie?
Good, and yourself, Mr. Harris?
Hey, I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing pretty good. Sun is shining over here. I could use some rain, but I'm happy with the sun for right now.
Oh, yeah, it's sunny here in Florida.
Yeah, where you at where you at right now?
Florida and Orlando.
Oh, okay, all right. Oh, I know it's lovely down there today.
It's true. Like we're in the, I don't call it hurricane season because I feel like it's how you like it's like what's it called when you jinx yourself.
Right.
So I call it long season.
Right, because y'all get all them storms and everything down there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Exactly.
No doubt. So, listen, for all of the people out there who, anybody who's been living under a rock for the last little while and might not be, familiar with some of your humble beginnings, just kind of let everybody out there know how you got into the industry, to the film industry, or acting, or theater, or just how it all started for you.
When I was younger, I wanted it to be, I was more like an assistant and due to some circumstances beyond my control, I lost that, and same thing with my dance career. And the first time acting around, my mom's my little sister and my mom were like, come with me to this casting call for your first, with this Asian firm. This was, when I was a kid. So I was like, okay. And I didn't take it seriously, and they were like, okay, we want you, but not your sister. So I was like, great, okay. Give it a shot,
Wow.
And I went there and I had a sister's class, and I just monologue on cold read and everything. And I remember the two managers, one was teaching, and the other one was in the office in the middle of a meeting, and they both were shocked. They came up and said, where the hell did you come from? And you're going to be signed, and you're going to go to LA, first class, so I'm like, okay. So then some things happened, and I just wanted to be a teen, so I dropped out, went to hair school, this director named J.L. Capella, and is a hairstylist. I don't want to be an actor, I just wanted to do hair and get into movies that way. And the director was like, you and J.L. Capella was like, you need to be in front of the camera, and I'm like, nah. Finally, he asked me the fourth time, and I was like, fine, I'll do it. And I got cast in a movie called Into the Basement that had Courtney Gaines and Jonathan Gregg and D.V.KeithHarris. And people were like, this is Melanie Robel girl. And what got me noticed was that I was taking full dancing lessons because at the time she was a stripper. And then I got cast into two other movies with D.V.KeithHarris and Courtney Gaines. And sadly, those movies haven't happened. And Dale was like, Melanie, you can't get discouraged. Just do whatever project you can. And just going. And just basically how it happened. I emailed this guy on MySpace saying I wanted to be a hairstylist. And he was like, no, go in front of the camera.
Wow. So that wasn't even that wasn't the first, that wasn't the first choice. And, being so... No. Being so skilled, but let me ask you then: did you know you had the skill to be able to pull it off and be successful in it, even when you didn't want to do it?
To be honest, I thought I did at the time. I got very lucky because a lot of the jobs I have gotten was based on my work ethic and recommendations, and the fact that I had no experience besides high school drama class. And I got cast in this movie. So this was and I was on a web series called Play Angels, and I went in there and lied about what my background was, and I got the job. So it was kind of on the ego high trade, if that makes sense. And finally, I got asked if I wanted to start on MySpace again from Cameron Scott about Folklore in America, and I was like, sure. I got the script, and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't even know how to break this down, you know. How am I supposed to break this down? What am I supposed to do? I don't know how to do that in my high school drama class. I didn't know how to make a backstory and everything. And my first coach moved back to LA, and I was more studying about audition processes and commercials. So I called someone, and I was like, hey, do you ever recommend a coach? And that's when I got into my first acting coach, Rick Blackwell. And he was like, well, we need help with. And I was like, well, I need to break down the script. I don't know how to do it. So it was a real humbling experience for me with that. And because of Russ Blackwell and my other coach, Ava Marie Barnes and Camden Swift, you know, they helped me get the skills to do what I need to do to break down the script and build up characters. Like, those things, am I still trying as an actor? Yeah. Am I still trying to figure what works and what doesn't? You're always going to do that.
Right.
So that's why, like, in interviews and stuff, I highly, highly stress, you know, you need acting training. It's so important.
Right. And being able to, you know, because there's a lot to it, you know, than just, you know, jumping in front of the camera. I mean, even being able to shake off the jitters, I think, at some point in time, because when you went to that first audition, were you nervous at all?
So a lot of it was when I was a musician, you didn't have time to be nervous. You played in front of a judge, you had a piece of paper or a blanket, so they didn't know who you were, you didn't know who they were, and you left, you know, you played, you left. So I got more of the jitters afterwards.
Yeah. It probably, the jitters afterwards, and you know, kind of waiting on that call back and just thinking, well, how did I do? Because, you know, you go in there and you keep it as professional as possible. So like you say, you know, you really don't have the choice to necessarily be nervous at the time. And then when you come out of it, when you come out of it, you're like, well, how did I do? Did I do this right? Oh no, I forgot to do that. All this stuff goes through your mind.
You know, with me, it's more like, okay, I went in there, I did it, maybe there's something I can do, if I can get the file, I watch it and go, okay, this is what I need to improve on, next. I mean, that's one of the most powerful lessons Brett taught me. He's like, character breakdown.
Right.
Project's over, next. Your audition's over, next. Because if you go in there and you're like, what can I do? What did I do? What did I do wrong? Was my hair wrong? Did I wear the wrong outfit? You can drive yourself crazy.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. Now, you know what? Now, looking at your reel, looking at your film reel, and just some of the some of your roles. As a matter of fact, even in like in post-mortem, for instance. So just some of these roles, where you're either in the bloody scenes or like I say in your reel, I came up with this other name for you, right? And it was Melanie Robel.
I used to get called that all the time in high school.
Right, yeah, because that's kind of, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of, when I looked, I said, wow, like, and I'm talking about in character mode, like not necessarily in real life, but, in character mode, it's like you play these roles that are, you're either the bad girl or you're kind of dangerous or you're going against the grain a bit. When you got into the industry, is that where you saw yourself going, or was that kind of just how it panned out?
I think it's more like how it panned out, because my look is so different. Physically, my look is very different and very exotic. So I think that I think they put that automatically with the bad girls and stuff. Because I remember kids there looking at me going, you're not a leading lady because of your look. And I'm like, who wants to be the leading lady? I wouldn't want the Chrysler Clear in a movie. I'd rather be the best friend, depending on what the role is. And then he goes, so you're different. Now, you remember, it was so funny because my mom was sitting right there because people, I play kids a lot and things like that, and sometimes she has to be there. And he was like, I said, yeah. He goes, this may sound inappropriate. And I said, okay. He goes, you're the best friend who's going to get the lead boyfriend, have sex with him, and then if you're lucky, depending on the role, you kiss him. I'm like, that's what it is.
Dang.
I feel like my look is a little more intense, and sometimes I think that does scare people.
Yeah, but you know what? That's a cool thing. And there was this one thing I watched with you, and it was like a Q&A, I believe. You had this white hair. You were wearing, and when I describe it, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. You had this white hair, and it was like a black and white scene. And you were sitting there, and you're answering these different questions. And it was, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So now,
I think so. I think I was for a web show called LaFleur.
What was it called again?
I think it's for a web show called LaFleur de May, I believe.
Oh, that might be it. And you're sitting, I don't know if you're sitting on a chair or a bed or whatever it was, you're answering these questions. And one of the questions was something about, what do you think about your, and there was a line in there where someone asked about a dog, like if a dog was doing something, you're like, well, why don't you ask the dog? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. That was my web show, LaFleur de May.
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
that's my personality. I'm an army brat. We tell it like it is.
That's what.
And, I mean, it's like, it's one of those, I had to learn to tone it down with the things of my parents and Matt Jason, my manager.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of snotty like that sometimes.
That's what I was trying to figure out, because I was confused for a minute, because I'm like, is she playing a role right now, or is she real right now? And that was a
No, that was all me. I mean, it's like, I think I'm kind of lucky in the fact that my brand as an actor is so close to me as a person at the same time that I think sometimes people don't know when it's me and when it's my character, like you said, because I'm not smart alecky, but I'm so little and I overanalyze everything, which is not. Sometimes it's a good thing and sometimes it's a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just like, sometimes I know I scare people because, like, I'm like, aren't you ask the dog? Like, really? What kind of question is that sometimes?
Yeah, because when you said, because at first it was like, okay, she's giving real answers. But then I was like, was she being smart right then? You know what I'm saying? So I was like, so yeah, but no, that's, go ahead.
Sometimes, like, when on that show, I feel it because I like it, and it makes me think on my feet real fast, if that makes sense. But sometimes, like, I don't get the script until that morning or the night before and stuff like that. And they like to do things to see if they would throw me off. And that was, like, one of the questions to see if they would throw me off, because I'm so focused that I ignore, like, everything around me except for the person in the scene, if that makes sense, and the director.
Right, and they couldn't catch you off guard. You know what? They couldn't catch you off guard because it seemed like whenever they would try to catch you off guard, you just said the first thing that came to mind that made sense to you.
Yes, and sometimes that's dangerous. Like, in high school, they play this game called Honey, If You Love Me, You Smile. And it's a focus game, and you have to do whatever you can to get the person to smile. And people hated me because they wouldn't smile, and you can't touch them. So, me being a dancer, people hated it because I would, like, contort my body and like, I do that, like, and move and get real close where I'm not touching them, and I'd be like, honey, if you love me, you smile. And then they would just laugh, and they're like, dang it, I can never last 5 seconds with that kid. I'm like, that's how I was like.
All right. Now, look, let's talk about Rattlesnake Sally for a second. Okay.
Awesome.
Now, were you executive producer on that film?
Yes, it was a courtesy title. What happened was the director, you know how indie films are, you don't have a big budget for everything.
Right.
And he was cutting down people, and there's one actor I wanted to work with, especially, his name's Larry Lackey, and he plays Brandon from Florida. So I told him, I'll pay for his ticket, you find him a place to stay, and I gifted him a editing system to help get the edit system moving because he's broke. So he's like, I'll just give you the executive producer title. And I'm like, okay. And that was a really good lesson because it made me learn real fast. I never want to be a producer because I'm a control freak. And it may not be politically correct to say, but to this day, there's some casting choices in that film I wish they never had casted some of those people because in my mind it didn't mix well. It didn't go with everybody in the film. There have been a couple of things I had to change.
Right. Hey, look, I know you're doing. I know I got the message. I spoke to Matt earlier. He was, letting me know how you want to go and busy you are. So I'm thinking you're probably on your cell phone right now. Are you able to just talk a little bit louder? I can hear you, but I wanted to be,
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I wanted to make.
Fun, actually.
Okay, because I didn't want to tell you to talk any louder. It's somewhere where you might be yelling or something like that, and you need to be more quiet.
No.
Okay.
I'm actually in the car. I'm just loud.
Okay, good. All right, yeah. So yeah, just talk a little louder. Now, in post-mortem, there's all this blood. I seen somebody get drilled in the ear and all kinds of crazy stuff. What was the plot to that movie?
What was the what?
What was the plot, like the kind of the storyline to post-mortem?
Okay. Basically, Linnea Quigley, who plays Lucille, was back on Severin, who's played by the very talented Jim Maria, and my character all worked, and a whole bunch of other characters in the movie worked for Severin, and it's end of the world, zombies.
Yeah.
Kind of like for a female that's and it's awesome because it's a whole bunch of strong women.
And I saw that. I'm trying to hear you clearly because you're cutting out a little bit. But I saw that, and that's what I was thinking too. I'm like, okay, I'm seeing zombies in here, and I believe I saw somebody eating a body part. That's how I figured out that it was a zombie and everything like that.
Yes, that was actually my first full-length film.
Okay, and wherever you right now, that's a perfect connection. You're clear. So.
Awesome, perfect.
Okay, that was great. So I don't know if you got you don't have to stand like an antenna or anything right now, do you?
Nope, I have a on my head.
All right, but yeah. And so, what was your role in post-mortem? Like, what were you doing?
Well, I played Rattlesnake Sally, who worked for Severin, and the thing behind her was this is the only thing she knew how to do was to be an assassin.
Oh.
And I came up, because I worked for Severin, and the backstory that I came up with was that she was religious, and every time she killed somebody, a part of her soul died.
Oh, wow. So okay, I don't even want to get a film away, but, so oh, man. So the more people, now, okay, because we talk about the soul dying, so was a piece of you dying, like, would you oh, man, I can't ask that question. I gave it away and people need to see it. You know what I want to ask you, don't you?
No, I don't. You can ask me. It's all good.
I would have asked you, so now, as the soul's down with every person that you killed, does this mean eventually you could die too, or?
I feel like it doesn't mean like you die physically. You can die emotionally and mentally.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So, and that's why I didn't want to get too much away in the film, because I was thinking, wow, like, would you have, like...
If you PM me your address and I'll send you a copy so you can see it.
All right. You know what? That'll work. I'll do that. That's why I said before, I was like, I don't want to give so much away. But that's interesting, though. Because at some point in time in the movie, you probably wanted to stop killing people, but you had no choice. You had to do it. It was your job.
Exactly. I mean, it's like, she didn't know what else to do. The story I came up with, this is all she knew. She grew up with it. In some weird way, you can probably tell in the movie, well, at least I tried to, like, she looked at Severin as a public figure because she didn't have one. Right. You know what I mean? And that's why, like, taking classes is so important because you are able to come up with things like that kind of a backstory and things like that. And I read a lot of psychology books because there's some things I admit, like, I'm just socially adept in some areas, and I'm just like, let's see. What disorder do we think this person has for this character? Okay, the systems, like, make sure I have those and on screen, and stuff like that.
Right. What do you have any type of procedure that you go through to get ready for the roles? Any type of woosahs or?
Basically, I don't watch other actors. I don't watch CPDs. I feel like if I have to like watch, like, for instance, a blood story where I played Anna Nasty, who's literally Bathory's daughter.
Yeah, that was.
That's something I watched like, a lot of Pride and Prejudice. You know, Jane Austen to get the refinement of body and classic films like that. But otherwise, I do have a process. You know, it's a bit secretive. It works for me. You know, it doesn't work for everybody. Depending on the role, I look to the music, or if it's something like I can't grasp, like with the Bathory family, you know, I feel like I'm a really good person. And sometimes, like, you know, you have your bad days and you're blue, you know, that kind of thing.
Natural.
But with her, I just couldn't get why people are so mean. So I went to Barnes and Nobles, and it was like a sign from the angels. You know, I walked in the psychology section. It was Philip Zimmerman, Lucifer Effect, Why You That, and I read that book before I went on set for a and helped nailed it.
Oh, wow. You know what? And I'm going to sound a bit ridiculous probably asking this question, but can I find...
It's a ridiculous question.
Okay, all right. Well, a hilarious question, that I should say. Can I find a blood, which I'm thinking I can. But now I looked up a blood, when I was, you know, trying to watch a blood story, I kept finding it in different languages.
Oh, that's because a blood story, Joe Hollow directed it, wrote it. It's not out yet. That is coming out June 6th, and you can pre-order it on Amazon.com as we speak. Okay,
all right. And you know what, you scared me so bad when you paused and said, "Oh, Melanie," because I thought you was about to say, no, that's not the right one.
It's all good. You know, it got distribution, and it's distributed by Brain Damage, so it's really exciting.
Well, no, yeah, that's a good thing. Like, don't get me wrong. No, that's an awesome thing. I mean, you always want, you know, listen, first of all, distribution, you know, for a lot of people out there who don't, well, they should know. But distribution out there, obviously, that's always a good situation. And especially when you can have, right, and especially when you can have, you know, when you can do films that are in other languages. Hence, what that obviously... Right. Hence, what that obviously means is your viewing, your viewing range obviously opens up by a whole lot. So that was a good thing. Right. So that's a great thing. But I was just talking about myself because I couldn't speak the language. So and I wanted to watch it. Go ahead.
It's all good. It's not a ridiculous question. I mean, like, I Google things like that all the time, and I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's not that one. Okay. Again, you can pre-order it now on June 6th. It'll be out June 6th on Amazon. But with A Blood Story, it's one of my favorite roles. I I really don't say, like, I have a favorite, you know, but this one's my favorite. And it's about, you know, it's disturbing crimes of how to be beautiful. You know, these people come in and they come to me and Francis's house, who Francis is played by Camden Toy, and I play Anna Nasty. Right. And Mindy Robinson's in it, Mark Hansen's in it, Robert Bedard's in it, and it was Deborah Lamb's in it, and it was so fun because, like, it's a really good take on society's thing of what are you willing to do and what are you willing to pay to be beautiful. Oh. And lots of twists and turns happen and stuff. It was so much fun.
Wow. So it's kind of daring. It's kind of daring where I suppose it pushes, you know, in the film it pushes the characters to their limits when you talk about what are you willing not to do.
Exactly.
Right. Is there any element of survival in it?
Yep, very much so. I mean, you'll just have to wait till the movie comes out to see who lives and who dies, of course.
I'll be trying to get it out of you. All right, go ahead.
I knew it.
Yeah. You are quick on your feet because I be rolling around the question and coming up from the side and everything else, and you know you quick. Good job, Melanie.
Thank you.
No
But
doubt.
you know, like, yeah, is there a way of survival for my character? Very much so. I'm, you know, Francis's right-hand lady. I do everything he says. You know, so
Right.
it's kind of like what is it called? It's kind of like a weird. I don't mean to be like inappropriate or graphic, but it's like 50 Shades of Grey. So kind of like a weird sadist mascot. How much am I willing to endure from Francis telling me what I have to do? You know, does she have a breaking point? Maybe. Does she have balls? Maybe. You're just going to have to wait for the movie to come out.
Well, we were all right. We waiting on it too. I'm definitely gonna be waiting so I can figure all that out. And you know, and just so you know too, in case you didn't know, on here we are uncensored.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever it takes to describe what you're trying to say, just spill it out. It's all right.
True, but then I'll get a message from Matt Chief.
Yeah, I know, Matt.
Melanie.
Yeah.
Political.
Right.
Good try, though. Good try.
Matt, right. Big shouts out to Matt too as well. Look, I want to ask you about Expelled. Sorry, I'm just going down your whole little film list here, which you've got quite a few. Everybody out there, it's not just films. With Melanie, you know, Melanie has done TV and some videos too.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, talking about Expel the Wicked for a second.
I'm so stoked about that. That's being shot in Arizona the first week of August.
Uh-huh.
And that one's going to be interesting because it takes on the base of your belief system. How far are you willing to go?
Yeah.
I can't give too much details, but I'm so stoked because that has Bill Bush Jr. and Lily Blair and Eileen Dietz and oh crap!
Wow!
Sorry guys, I have it blank, and I'm really excited to work with Kevin Macomb. I've been wanting to work with him quite some time, so I get to work with him, and he plays my husband, and we're like this happy couple. But there's some issues that are happening, you know.
Wow!
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be dark. I think it's going to be darker, a little darker than a blood story.
Really?
Yeah, because like, you know, when it comes to religion and everything,
yeah, it's touchy.
It's a touchy subject. It's always a controversial subject. So, you know, I think it's going to be definitely a lot darker, and it's going to be a very different role for me that I'm going to have into a different part of my brain. And there's probably, I don't want to get too much details, but I definitely know it's going to be a hard role because there's going to be some aspects that I really don't want to revisit and tap into some of those memories of me as a kid. So it's probably going to be very therapeutic. And if whoever is my hotel mate, I feel sorry for, but that because I'm probably going to be like,
right. Well, you know what? How is that? You know, I got to ask that question. With playing the type of roles that you play, I mean, obviously they definitely deal with a different psyche of the mind sometimes. I mean, even roles that some people just they might be too frightening for some people. Do you ever, you know, speaking of the therapy of the mind, do you ever have to find yourself, you know, after a shoot, let's say after a long shoot of, you know, a long day of filming some of these roles, do you ever have to find yourself in some sort of quiet place at the end of the day? You know, just that pause moment where you need to separate that. You're home now, you know, or you're back at the room. You're like, okay, I need to let this go and you know, carry on with regular life. Do you ever go through that?
Blood Story, I did. I'm not a very mean, cold person. Sometimes I do admit I get sensitive, but you know that makes me ideal because of the fact that I can tap into it. It makes me a good actor. Yeah, you know, there's times where I just want to be left alone, but you don't have that choice, so you kind of have to control that. So when I got home from the Blood Story, also I had a really sick cat at the time that we weren't sure what was going on, so I just stalled because I came home and I knew my cat was extremely ill because my neighbors didn't take care of the cat properly. My parents went out of town for a couple of days, and I found piles of vomit around in my house.
No.
And I I felt so bad because I'm like, if I hadn't had stayed that one extra day, my cat probably would have been better. But it turns out it wasn't like that because she had a tumor that was present on the brain that made her have seizures and made her throw up. So we had to sadly put her down. So in that kind of stressful situation, do I have to take my personal life stuff and toss it out the window? Very much so. But there's times where I use it. What's going on in the scene, like with the web show The Florida May, I call her my crying buddy, Bailey Ellenberg. Hi, Bailey. That she's so talented, and I love singing with her. And I don't know what it is with her, but every time on the floor, we were always bawling, and I'm like, "You're always making me cry," and she's like, "You're always making me cry." And whatever I have, I just think of and let it go.
Wow. And look, LaFleur, if I'm saying it right, where you played Tiffany, is it Tiffany Geary or Geary? Or?
Yep.
Okay, Tiffany Geary.
Geary.
Right. Can you tell us what the title, what is that title?
It's LaFleur de May. It means flowers of May. On the web show, it's on Vimeo, and you can pay like $2.99 for the full season. It's about the Gary family, and the leading guy, his name is Jeffrey, and he runs a fashion house, and he's gay, and his boyfriend is a rival of the Gary family, which is the DeMarcos, and they're in love with each other, and it's about these 5 guys, and it's one sign of AIDS, and one isn't sure if he has AIDS, and it's a ripple effect of what their lifestyle choices are regarding to the family. And my family, the Garys, is the leading family.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and that's pretty intense because that's, you can, people can kind of apply that to real life situations. One family is against the other. People are in love. No one knows, how just no one knows how to express certain things to the other family. There's probably,
exactly.
Yeah. Do they, and they may even have to, no one can come out and ever tell the truth about, listen, we're hanging out today, or we're going here, and then there's a power struggle with that too.
Exactly. And the cool thing about this show is that it's not just like gay men. Like my character Tiffany, she's a bisexual, drug addicted teenager.
Right. So okay.
So you have that, and then you have one of them are like trying to turn straight by religion. So it's a very controversial, not work appropriate.
Right.
If you're going to watch it with your kids, make sure it's appropriate first because there's some sex in there. Yeah. So it's awesome. It's one of my other favorite roles too.
You know what?
And a lot of people.
Go ahead.
It's so funny because me, I see myself as androgynous, anyway. So that's why I like the role.
Okay. I was getting ready to ask you, as a matter of fact, could you ever, well, I guess you could. I mean, it's your profession, but could you ever break down and play the super nice girl in a role? Could you see that? I know you can do it professionally. You're good at what you do, but could you ever see that being you? I mean, let's say they come to you with this script and they say, Melanie, it's a wonderful script. We want you to play the housewife, the good housewife, and you're picking the kids up every day from school. How was that for you?
I think it would depend. I mean, it's could I play me personally? Yeah, I would really have to, professionally, yeah, of course I would say yes. Mm-hmm. And I would have to, do the part.
Right.
But on a personal level, I would have to really, 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 really look at it because with some of the stuff that I had to deal with as a kid, I don't want to say I'm dated, but I'm pretty much a realist.
Right.
And my answer to a lot of stuff it is what it is. You can't change it.
Right. So yeah, that's why I asked that question. I know, like you said, I know professionally you could tackle the role no problems, but just like, on the opposite side of being able to just throw yourself into some of these roles, it would seem like it would be a bit different for you.
I would have to tap into it and feel like, okay, the world is full of butterflies and unicorns and everything's perfect, and I love everybody and everybody loves me, and of course I would be like, I would be like, yeah.
You know what though? It's good that you keep that stuff in mind when you're doing your roles too, because again, it's like you say, being a realist. You never, in other words, you don't let the roles that you play distract you from who you are on the inside, and I think that's extremely important to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that it's one of those things where it's like, I gotta do what I gotta do.
Yeah. Yeah. There's
some people who don't like going to their 9-to-5 job, but
right.
They do it.
You do what you got to do. All right. Now here's the question: what would be, if you could write yourself? I always ask this question. I got to know from you because it's going to be interesting. But what if you could write yourself into a role? Who would you be?
Mm-hmm.
Would you be the mass psycho murderer? Would you save the world? What would you do? Well, I guess I can rule save the world out. but what role could you? What would be your favorite role to play if you could pick?
Honestly, it's not like a type like that. My dream role would actually be two things. Annie Oakley, who is like one of the best expert marksmen as a woman.
Oh.
And the second one would be because my great-grandfather fought in the Norwegian underground military in Norway during World War II.
Yeah.
And everything. I think it would be so interesting and so hard to play a Nazi.
Oh, wow. You know what? You're right. That
because it would be a challenge.
Well, I can see where it will be challenging, and then at the same time, I could kind of see you playing it just with the look wise, because of, the short hair and things like that. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think a lot of people back in that time, even the females, they were the short haircuts, even with the guys and things like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I could kind of see character wise you being able to play that role, but like, what do you think it would be hard to?
I think it would be so interesting because me personally and my grandfather's Jewish, so playing a Nazi, you have to really think of how hard to justify that belief system, to make, like, how that was correct, and you honestly believe that those masses of people needed to be killed. I think that's so interesting. I like playing roles that challenge me in that aspect.
If you did that, if you played a role like that, I could see you winning an award for that. I really could, because you made a good point. You would definitely have to step out of your comfort zone to be able to pull that off. That would surely give people, a reason to say, wow, like no one would think about Melanie. Even, as crazy and wild as people may have you pegged out to be, in some of these films, I don't think anyone could really tack that to your character. So if they saw you playing a role like that, they would know that you really had to step outside your comfort zone and put your, and put your soul into that.
Exactly. I mean, it's like, I'm also very realistic. Am I going to be like Hannah Montana or Lindsay Lohan, which that's subject to her, those two controversies, but those Disney types. Why wish for something that your brand isn't going to be? That's just dumb. In this business, I feel you have to be realistic. Well, that's where I'm thankful that I have a manager and an agent, because they see me differently from how I see me. If that makes sense.
No, it does. Now,
because if I would have submitted myself for it, I probably, on some of the roles, there's some things I'm like, oh, maybe I should submit myself for this. And I'm like, no, my look doesn't look like that. So for me personally, it's hard for me to submit myself. So I'd rather have other people do that for me, and I focus on my training,
Right.
being fit, eating right, and doing what I need to do to be the best actor that I can be.
Right. Are you able to watch yourself after, are you one of those people, can you sit down and watch yourself in films?
Yeah, I mean, it's always uncomfortable. I mean, you feel so narcissistic, like, watching yourself, and you don't want to act like, I really enjoyed myself during this performance, because you just come across as narcissistic, not sincere, and you know, like, ugh, no. But, I watch with a very critical eye. Yeah, I'm a very unhealthy perfectionist. It goes back to me being a ballerina and music. Everything had to be perfect. Your toes had to be in this position, all the way down to, oh no, I have a hair that's out of my bun. Do it again. Kind of thing.
Right, and I'm gonna go backwards for a second, and then I'm gonna go forward, because you were in also one of my favorite films. I love this film, but I'll talk about that in a second. Okay, hold on. Being a ballerina, okay?
Yeah.
I guess I want to say, how was that for you? Like, were you, was your intentions at that time to possibly become a dancer? I know you did the pole dancing, but how was that for you? I mean, would you do that again in a movie?
My poor mom and dad. Could I get back into ballet? Sadly, no. I was brought in at strong feelings on here, from a back injury, and I had progressive tissue damage from being dropped by my partner.
Oh, wow.
The ballet world, let me tell you, the ballet world, the acting world, and the music world is so different. Music, you go in, you audition, and it's based by 100% skill. They do not care who you are because they don't see you.
Right.
The ballet world, it was different in a way. That was like the first time that I got based on my look, where it was like, you can't see my company because you're 5. Because at the time I was 5'8", I'm now 5'6" in the back end.
Right.
But your thighs are too big. Your thighs touch too much. Your feet are crooked. One hip bone is out more, one is in.
Yeah.
So I used to have to go to a chiropractor and have them push my hips out. My favorite one was, we would use you, but your one kneecap is higher than the other, and they measure your tendons and stuff.
And they can see that even though you, wow.
That world was mean, as in, I started later in age, and I was able to jump 4 levels within 1 year.
Man.
I have really good muscle control, and I'm really good with movement. And the funny thing is, one thing I miss about ballet is I hate talking. I know it's stupid, and it may sound ridiculous, but I do. I really hate talking. It's just the way it is. I just prefer just to sit there and be by myself.
I'm kind of like that. I understand that. You know what, you are right. You just got something out of me right there too. I do a talk show, and sometimes, not when I'm on my show. I love to talk when I'm on my show. But when I'm not on my show, I don't really like to talk that much.
Yeah, exactly. I don't like selling myself, but I have to,
Yeah.
And with the ballet world, it was hard because I'm more muscular as it is. And again, my mom and dad, who I was a bad case. I couldn't eat things after 5 o'clock. I couldn't have a snack after 6 o'clock. If I missed a snack, I had to go to bed hungry. My body type just wasn't what it was. And when I got my back injury, my doctor's like, congratulations, gain weight or you're going to the hospital. And, I was very, and people were like, oh, ballet, it's not a joke. It's not just a career, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
I mean, even my friend Frankie Monzo, she danced with Beyonce, and you can see her in Pitch Perfect too, but say the same thing. And the difference between the ballet world and the acting world, the actors are meaner, more bitter, and spiteful, and more insecure than the ballerinas. At least with the ballerinas, you didn't get a part. You knew either your skill wasn't good enough, you didn't have the right look, you couldn't fit into the costume, or you sucked with the artistic director.
Yeah.
That was just the full common theme. I have never experienced such whiteness in the acting world, and I've had the last foot of my toe shoot. So there you go.
Damn. Okay, now that's serious. Holy cow.
Yeah. So when it comes to like other actors, it's interesting. They should really do a psychological study between the difference between the dancers, actors, and musicians, and see who's more stable.
I could imagine.
That's probably not politically correct. I know I'm going to get a call from that now.
Nah, but hey, but you know what though? That's keeping it 100 though. That's keeping it real. And I can honestly see, you know, I mean, I haven't been a ballerina obviously, but just from viewing and just, you know, like knowing certain people and different things like that, I can honestly see what you're saying. It does, looking from the outside in, it just kind of looks like a cruel world at times. Well, I won't say cruel, I won't say that, but demanding.
It's very demanding. On both sides with the ballet and the acting, it is demanding. At least with the acting, you have a freeway when it comes to your physical appearance, while ballet, you had to have a certain look.
Yeah.
One of the things was, and it was a blessing in disguise that, and, you know, I totally miss it, that I got my back injury, because when you are 16 years old, you're weighing your food, and you're trying to figure out how to weight corn and you curl on the ball on sobbing, that should have been the time to quit.
No doubt. Listen, I want to talk about Astro because we got a few more minutes. I want to talk about Astro Zombies.
Astro Zombies was such an amazing experience. Astro Zombies M3 clone, because one of the original Doll Squad members was actually in the movie, and they actually, like, I don't know how they did it, but they hologrammed Tora. I always messed up her name. Tora Sutra from the Brother Irish movies. She was actually in it, even though she's dead. And I got that because between me being a ballerina, I box and I kickbox from time to time. My friend John Michaels was like, Melanie, you have to call the Lesters and apply for this. And I'm like, okay, I'll go apply. And the original costume was actually worn by the Doll Squad member that was in there. Well, I had to wear a different jumpsuit, and it was just so much fun. I didn't get to work with Ted B. Michaels personally because I was on the second floor unit, which is a good, you know, and it drives me crazy because sometimes with these indie film directors, if you develop a team good enough, it's Ted B. Michaels, who is almost 90 years old, still making movies that can have units, you know, team units in different areas. Yeah. Anybody could be able to do it.
Yeah.
And I got a whole new following because of Ted B. Michaels, and I'm forever grateful to my friends Kevin and Gary because of it. Yeah.
Yeah, Ted is Ted's a good friend of mine. He's he's legendary. You know what I mean?
He is. You know, it's amazing. And I love it when people like, I love Grindhouse movies, and I'm going to make Grindhouse. And it's like, how can you do that when you don't know the history of Ted B. Michaels, the guy who did meet the Grindhouse movement? It's not Herschel Gordon Lewis. It's fucking, it's Ted B. Michaels.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no doubt. I'm a little leak secret that a lot of people don't know. I'm looking forward to. We're going to do a film with Ted V. Michaels, as a matter of fact, coming soon. Yeah, I'm looking.
Can you tell Ted?
Yeah.
Can you tell Ted that he needs to hire Melanie Robel if he remakes the Doll Squad? That is my dream role.
I sure will. I absolutely will.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's doing his thing. Ted is all right. A wonderful guy. I'll probably be talking to him soon, as a matter of fact. Yeah, but that's amazing though, in Astro Zombies, that you had that role. I know you really enjoyed that. But now you were in Astro Zombies Cyberspace, but you were that was two different ones, right? Zombie Space and Clone, the M3.
Yeah, that one was two different movies. I was just like, you know, sometimes I just like doing extra work because you just learn something new. I didn't have any lines or anything. Yeah. I just wanted to be in another Ted B. Michaels film.
Yeah.
I mean,
ain't nothing wrong with that.
Sounds funny.
Yeah.
But I wanted to have at least two Ted B. Michaels films on my resume
Nothing wrong.
Because he's just awesome.
Nothing wrong with that. Now, look, what we talked about a few different things. What can we expect coming up, and what can the fans and followers expect coming up in the nearest future?
Disciples, you can find that now on Amazon, the U.S. edition. Again, if you have children, please watch it first because it may not be child influence. But that's about a demon that comes down to earth, and it must be so scary that God is so scared. And I play like one servant girl. It's pretty sexy. There's a good sexy scene in there, so don't blink.
Okay. Y'all heard it right here on the Keith Harris Show.
Yeah. If you miss this innocent kid-like person, that's not the movie for you.
Yeah. You know how it is. Sorry, go ahead.
I know. Don't let this movie fool you. But that has like Tony Todd, Angus Grant, Bill Moseley, Devil Lamb, my favorite guy, Camden Toy, and Tim Hayes, Barbara, I can never pronounce her last name, Naga Felony from Florida, Shannon Lark. There's a whole bunch of other people, and I can't remember their names. Yeah. Linnea Quigley, and Linnea Quigley is also in A Blood Story. Ooh, that would have been bad. They're not, that. I've been very blessed that I got to work with amazing people and have amazing teams on my resume, as young as I am.
And you do. You know what? And you look young too. I won't ask you to, tell your age to mess with everybody's curiosity. I know a lot of people have been wondering, but yeah, you have quite the resume under your belt, and I want to congratulate you on all your success so far, and wish you so much continued success. Yeah. I call you the Scream Queen. I call you the Queen of Scream, because they got the Scream Queens out there. The labels of the Scream Queens. So I call you the Queen of Scream.
I like how you said that, because in my mind, I really don't see myself. Okay, this is what Matt and I have to discuss about all the time. I don't want to say lecture or argument, because that's negative. But this is why me and Matt have a discussion about it all the time. And when I first met Matt, I was like, I'm not a Scream Queen, man, that kind of thing. Yeah. And he's like you are. And in my mind, I like how you said Queen of Scream. Right. Or I see myself as an actor who has done predominantly horror movies, because I personally feel I'm not at the level to be with Caroline Williams and Lynn Lowry and Ricky Stevens and Monique Dupree, who I absolutely adore, and Lynn Quigley and Michelle Bayer and stuff like that, because to me, and Debbie Rashawn, because to me that's like iconic. That would be like saying, what's these guys that's kind of like me look? That'd be like me saying, I'm the best young Jessica Lange out there. I'm the Jessica Lange lookalike. Look at me. Oh, I'm so Jessica Lange. I mean, really?
Right.
She studied, to me, that would be like so insulting, because she studied in France. So my training is nowhere near hers, And she's been in the business for so long that she knows what works for her and what doesn't, and I'm still learning that. So for me to be like, I'm Jessica Lange, or some people being like, I'm so Julia Roberts, or like, I'm so Winona Ryder, or I'm Angelina Jolie, that's just ludicrous, because their looks are so strange.
Right, and you know what, and that was the next thing.
And I'm me. Yeah. I'm Melanie Robel. I'm not Jessica Lange. I'm not Winona Ryder.
Exactly. That's why I said,
why would I base my career on somebody else? Now, there's sometimes, there's some people who tell me, you need to watch Park Posey, and, oh goodness, who's the other girl? I can't think of her name right now. In the House of Yes, Juliette Lewis, because they're quirky, and that's what they made their careers on. And, right. And I watch them, I'm like, yeah, but if I do that, that's not me. I'm not going to mold myself into what people think I am. Are there some things that I need to tone down? Yeah. is there something that I need to relearn how to do, like eating braces was taken off? There's some aspects of my smile that I have to learn to, like, turn down the corners. Because if I smile too big, I look like Jack Nicholson, and it's like, oh my God. I have that kind of a smile. Yeah. I mean, one of the greatest, and I'm going to probably get upset about it, but one of the greatest moments I've ever had in my career was at Robert Cigar, and he was like, he'd get a pencil, and he was like analyzing my face, and he was like, your jawline is proportionate in your face, but you have a bigger predominant jawline, and you have to learn to control it, because you don't want my shit, do you? You're a woman. And I'm like, what? And I just thought that was the funniest thing. I miss Robert Cigar so much.
Right. Well, you know what? And now, did you agree with that?
Yeah, I do, because Robert, God bless his soul, he has been in the business for so long, and he's so distinctive, and he had to learn to work with his face. I mean, I know that sounds horrible, but he's known as the face. Right. And there's certain positions in how I tilt my head that the jawline comes out more. I had braces for like almost for 2.5 years, and my orthodontist said that they actually raised my chin up and back, and it's about 2 inches because my teeth were so messed up. Thank God for John Silver. Thank you for that. But he's the one who told me to take back his braces. Right. But, there's just certain things that you have to work with your face and your body as an actor, because you don't want to take jawline. I mean, the camera does add 5 to 10 pounds. That's true. Nah, yeah, you know what? You're right. You're absolutely right about that, as a matter of fact. Again, I throw myself in the boat. Just standing around trying to take a picture sometimes just to even post a picture. You're like, okay, well, where's my good side? This side of my face looks bigger. Yeah, this side of my face looks bigger than the other side. And, my ear. Exactly. I'm very lucky in the fact that I'm photogenic. But I've seen some of my headshots, and I can't choose them. I have to have somebody else choose them because I'm overly critical. But there's some where you're like, ooh, that's it. Look at that jawline. And you got one next to least, because there's sometimes you're going to take a bad photo. Yeah, it's the way it is. It's going to happen. How do you look? Before we get out of here, how do you feel about the selfies? Do you like the selfies? Do you take a lot of selfies? No, I hate selfies. Like when I'm hanging out with my boyfriend and stuff, I do because we're cute and I think we're a cute couple. Yeah. But me as a whole, I really don't like doing selfies. I just feel like so narcissistic. That's like, but sometimes I do. Like if I'm with my sister, I should probably have seen on my Facebook. We do some with dumb faces and stuff. Right. But I try not to do them. I hate the part. Yeah, I know. Plus with selfies, I think a lot of people don't realize your arm is in the way. So you look like you're taking your own picture. Listen, go ahead. It's so funny because like when I'm with my boyfriend Mark, he'll be like, Melanie, put your arm down because your arm looks like it's fat and you look muscular. And I just laugh and I'm like, ooh, message, delete. Only cute photos on Facebook. Absolutely. Listen, Melanie, look, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Look, come back on the show sometime. I'd love to have you back. Thank you. I would be happy to come back. Right, and but go ahead. You need to have like your post box, and I'll send you some goodies. Thank you. I love goodies. Of course. Who doesn't love goodies? That would be great. And because I know, and good luck with today. Thank you. Also, because again, thank you for having me. I know what you were doing. Okay, listen, everybody out there all across the land, you're tuned into the Keith Harris Show right here on Hotline Radio. We've been talking to the wonderful, astounding actress and producer Melanie Robel. Melanie will be talking to you soon. Oh, also, hold on before you go. Anybody who did not
get to tune in from the beginning of this conversation, in case you tuned in late, this full conversation will be posted on social media later on for playback purposes. Melanie, hold on. Any shout outs? And I also need you to tell everybody where they can go check you out on social media too.
Oh yeah, good point. Okay, you can follow me on Twitter at Melanie Robel 02. Same thing on Instagram, on Facebook, it's Melanie Robel. Soon there will be a MelanieRobel.com. I got to get my act together on that. Sorry, guys. And you can find me on IMDb by typing in my name, Melanie Robel.
Absolutely, absolutely. Everybody, that has been the wonderful conversation with actress and producer Melanie Robel right here on the Keith Harris Show. GN, the number one station on the net, Hotline Radio. Don't forget to check her out and support all her future, past, and present projects. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.